HDZero. HDZero said a little while back that they were going to be open sourcing. And a whole bunch of people said, yay, HDZero is so great. And I said, HDZero is great, but don't give them credit for doing something until they actually do it. Saying you're going to open source and actually putting the damn code out there are two different things. And I'm happy to say, I'm happy to say that they have taken a step in that direction. Blunty, what have they done?
They have pushed the first open source repository on GitHub, and Carl made a post to cover that and let us know exactly what happened. But yeah, they've made a project for HDZero. They published the VTX code, and this first code to be published. The Goggle source code will be released later. I think it's already up. I might be wrong though. We are committed to working with the community to build the best digital video system for everyone. Mechanical CAD data is also included. The products are meant to be reference designs for manufacturers to build from and allow pilots to customize the product to their needs. And then he basically lists that this will help with MSP controls and community feature requests for the software side of things, canvas mode, stuff like that, changing OSD stuff. One caveat here is this is currently compiled with, I think it's Kyle C, which is closed source IDE you have to pay money for, but I think hopefully they'll everybody can get it ported to an open source compiler. I don't know what's involved in that, but currently if you wanted to build this, you couldn't do that without a paid license. But I'm sure that will be, he mentions targeting a new open source compiler like SDCC. So
that's fantastic. And I would like to say that when I was reserved, other people were like, why are you hating? Of course, Carl is going to do what he said he was going to do. And I was like, I also believe he's going to do what he said he's going to do. But until he does it, I'm not going to, throw him a party. And now that he's doing it, I also believed he was going to do it. I don't know. Sometimes plenty people say, oh, we're going to do this thing. And then they don't do it. And they get, everybody's like, oh, they're so good. They did this thing. No, they haven't done it yet. And then 3 months later, it's like, yeah, we never got around to doing the thing. And just a little bit, I feel like I've been burned before on that.
Sure. So. I will say that I think HDZero has built their brand on this being their thing from the beginning. So I'm hoping that this will continue to be, Carl has said from the beginning, we want to provide people our chips and sell our chips. So, and he's finally delivered. I mean, they're slowly delivering on that whole promise that they've been doing there. They're delivering good hardware and they're, or good enough hardware, basically. And then they're starting to deliver on the software side of open source stuff. So, one thing this really does is a lot of people, have questions about implementation for stuff like MSP, right? Like what's happening on the VTX side for real with the MSP implementation. So sometimes when you need to know that information, it's just not possible to know because nobody wants to show you their source code to see how it's actually running. They'll talk to you, maybe if you can get in contact with a developer and try to figure it out, or you're like probing it to see what returns and what MSP commands it can take and where things line up. But now you can see that and change it and make it better and all that kind of stuff. So very cool to see.
Awesome. Sorry, I was moderating the chat there for a second. Didn't mean to rudely ignore you. So we've got a link to that GitHub repo if people want to download and start looking at the code, and more code for the goggles presumably is coming. So very, very exciting.